Welcome back, and today we'll be discussing about I will be discussing a summary on operations on complex numbers. So again, we know that complex numbers is just made of a real part and imaginary parts. In that case, let me call this number, shall we say, z1 be equal to the number, shall we say, ang iyang real part kay 2, ang iyang imaginary part kay 3. So we have 2 plus 3i. Okay? Let me also call another complex number z2. In that case, no, example lang na siya sa complex number, z2. In that case, let me have it a real part of 4 and an imaginary part of 5. So I have 4 plus 5i. And let us try to, subject these numbers into different operations normally encountered for complex numbers. So we say we have now addition. So what is that? Addition of complex numbers. We simply add, just like what we add, like 2 plus 3, like we add real numbers. We can also add complex numbers. In this case, z1 plus z2. So what is z1 plus z2? So, sa yun lang na sila, di ba? Pag ingani nagali ang case karon, simply copy z1, that will be 2 plus 3i, and then you add it with, ito lang ibutang sa brace para kuha. Di pa to siya makuha, no? Kakabulta mo ng z1, and then we add z2, 4 plus 5i. And ang ruling when you add things, like added to like terms, okay? Meaning, real part added to real part, that will be what? Real meaning 2, kaning 4 kay real. So the answer for this will be, you add the real part. Dili kay 2 plus 3, but 2 plus 4, that's 6, okay? And the imaginary part, you add them. 3i plus 5i will become 8i. And this simply is it. That's how you add complex numbers. Second, what if you are subtracting complex numbers? Shall we say z1 minus z2? So what will that be? So z1 is simply 2 plus 3i. 2 plus 3i is minus z2 minus what? Ito na yung brace na, okay? Minus 4 plus 5i. Right? So, wala gila kalainan sa addition o subtraction. Ang idea lang din karon is 2, di na siya plus 4 but minus 4. Mura mo sa giingon ani. This could be rewritten as 2 plus 3i plus, distribute ito ang negative like, negative sign, negative 4 minus 5i. Anak lang muna siya. So, we have 2 plus negative 4. That is simply what? Negative 2. And we have 3i plus negative 5i will become simply negative 2i. Okay? That's how we do the subtraction. So, nothing special really. Dapat careful lang kanungan. The negative sign will be distributed all throughout. Dili lang kasi negative 4 lang siya madto, but it will also go with negative 5i. Next. What if we perform multiplication? In this case, what is z1 times z2? So, you multiply or dot or this asterisk sign or dot lang normally ang ginagamit, okay? What is z1 times z2? So, we'll simply have z1, copy that z1, 2 plus 3i, and then times what? z2, which is 4 plus 5i. And, saan man ang na-add karon? This is just algebraic multiplication. We multiply. You could either use the FOIL method. First terms, FOIL. Then by FOIL. First, outer, inner, last. So first term times first term. So first times first. So we have 2 times 4. That's what? 8. Okay? Outer, 3i times I will become what? What is 3i times I? That is what? Well, 3i times 5i, that is actually 15i squared, right? Tama. And then, inner. Asa man ang mga inner terms? So, lantawan naman, no? Inner naman yung 3i o 4. 3i times 4, that is simply 12i. Okay? 12i. And then, what is outer, the last term? 3i times 5i. Well, that's simply 3i times 5i, that's 15. Well, namali ko ganina, no? Okay, again. First terms, 2 times 4, that's 8. Outer terms, 2 times 5, that dili kay 3 times. So, outer man ay gawas, ani nga term, no? Gawas, o kini left nga gawas, kani right nga gawas. So, we have 10 lang da ini siya. Okay, no worries. So, 10i. Inner terms, 3i times 4, that's 12i. Last term will be 3i times 5i. That will be what? Plus 15i squared. Okay? And the second step to simplify this one, kay dapat man ang imong answer is complex number. So dapat na lang kay isa ka real term o isa ka complex kay imaginary term. In this case, what is I squared? By definition, I squared is simply equal to, kung na siyang definition sa I squared is equal to -1. So, square ni mga I, -1 lang siya. Okay? And therefore, in this case, this will just be what? 8 plus 10 times -1. Okay? Ang pilang man ng 8 plus 10, so that will be 8. 10 times -1 is simply -10. Plus 12i. And what is this? I squared, so that must be -15. Okay? In this case now, we just collect all the real parts. So 8 minus 10, that's -2. Minus 15, that's -17. And then we have here the 12i. Okay? Note that dapat ang imong answer sa multiplication is duha ka term. Isa ka real part, isa ka imaginary part. That's what makes a complex number is. Okay? Next. Reciprocal. When we say reciprocal, we simply get the for example, reciprocals of 4, 1 over 4. In that case, what is the reciprocal of z1 in that, for example? So, what is 1 over z1? Ipapangita mo ka sa reciprocal sa z1. O sa kanang real number lang, sayon lang kaya. For example, what is the reciprocal of 4? 1/4. Teka na lang. But, yan yung mungod karon, we'll have then 1 over z1 will then become 1 over 2 plus 3i. Kani manggod siya nga form karon kay improper ni siya, it's because dili manggod ka dapat. Kay dapat ang imong real, ang 1 over z1 is a real number, and dapat ang real number in standard form is written as this one. Mo man ang standard form niya, a plus bi. Dapat a plus the real part plus b, the imaginary part, times I. Ang ana lang niya kani naman sa denominator, dili na siya standard form. That's why normally we do some modifications to this, okay? Meaning we ug sa kuan pa no, we rationalize the denominator. In this case, tanggalon ning mga I sa denominator, okay? So how do we do that? Well, ang idea na is multiplyan lang na siya nimo sa iyahang conjugate. In that case, if that is 2 plus 3i, you multiply that by 2 minus 3i because we know that we have special format for that, right? Right. What is that? Because we know that I think we know that u plus v times u minus v is simply equal to what? Well, that's equal to u squared minus v squared, right? U squared minus v squared. So in this case, kabalo manggod ta nga katong square ng I, mahimo na siyang real number, right? Because I squared is -1. So let's do that. So in this case, we just simply copy the numerator 2 minus 3i, but the denominator will be what? U, murag mo nimong u, mo nimong v. So in that case, the answer will be i-multiply nimo ng 2 plus 3i o 2 minus 3i will be what? Well, that's u squared. That's 2 squared is 4 minus v squared. That's 3i squared. So what is that? 9 minus 9i squared. Okay? Minus 9i squared. In that case, what is 9i squared equal to? Well, ito lang kapihawon sa 2 minus 3i. Ano nakuha kita 9i squared? That is 3i squared. So, 3 squared o I squared. 3 squared is 9. So, in this case, what is I squared? Sa ganang I squared? Simply, -1 lang man na, di ba? You say here that I squared is equal to -1. In that case, well, -9 times -1 will be simply, kuan lang, +9. So, 4 plus 9, that is simply 13, right? 4 plus 9, that's 13. So, in that case, 13, and that will be 2 minus 3i over 13. That will then be standard form na pa na siya. Dili pa no, dili pa siya standard form nga naman. Okay, dapat man lahi na to ang complex, lahi na to ang real parts. In this case, this will then become, well, 2 over 13 minus 3 over 13i. In this case now, na siya sa standard format. Ang imuhang a kay 2 over 13, ang imuhang b kay 3 over 13i. So, standard format na siya. Unlike this one, ang imong I naman sa denominator, wala ka naka-standard form sa imong complex number. Similarly, for 1 over z2, unsa man ang 1 over z2? Ano lang, di ba, no? 1 over 4 plus 5i. Multiplyan lang nato na siya by this, the conjugate of this. Conjugate simply means that ga-differ lang ilahang imaginary part. Kung positive, dapat minus ang mga ibutang dana, okay? It's because you want to have this form actually. U plus v times u minus v. So 4 minus 5i. In that case, that will become 4 minus 5i over, well, 4 squared, that's 16, um, minus 25i squared. And thinking again that I squared is simply negative 1. Ako na isa ka ni gamay no. Yes, okay, I can do that, I guess. So I squared is negative 1, and then I can simply do what, 4 minus 5i. This will just be what? 16 plus 25, because 25, negative 25 times negative 1 is 25. So what is that? Well, that is 5 plus 6, that's 11. That's 41, I believe. I hope na wala ko nagkamali na. Anyway, we'll have here 4 over 41. Kailangan nga tuwing aning nga format kay dapat man a plus bi. So, ilahi nimo sila. Minus 5 over 41i. So, this is a and this is b. This is your reciprocal na. Mao man na siya ang form. Dili enough nga kana lang mong istorya. Equal man na sila, pero this is improper, no? You don't report things like this. Kaya dapat man pag naka-complex number, kabalo ka kung how much is its real part and how much is its imaginary part. Okay? Now, let's go to the other one, which is division. When we say division of complex number, shall we say what is z1 over z2? So, normally, muna siya ginatreat na mo as algebraic expression. z1 is simply what? 2 plus 3i, and z2 is simply 4 plus 5i. And again, just like in getting the reciprocal, improper ning ingon ani kay dapat man kay ang real, ang complex number kay nga naman ang form a plus bi. In this case, wala mga kabalo kung unsang imong real part lang akuan kay nga may I sa denominator. Let's do this. How do we do this? Simply lang, no, just like what we did with the reciprocal, we multiply this by the conjugate, ang denominator, or simply multiply lang nimo siya og 4 minus 5i. Nga namang minus kay plus man na dana. Kung minus pa dana, plus ang imong i-multiply. This is what we call the conjugate, okay? And here we have 4 minus 5i also, para dili unfair, no? So what is that? 4 minus 4 plus 5i. Kadugayan nimong nilantaw ani, no? Kay primero nimong panglantaw ani kay kuan man na siya. Mahimo kang 16 minus 25, makakuha ka ng 16 minus what? 25i squared, right? It's u squared minus v squared. Magkadugayan, ma-realize po nimo nga ang I squared ka negative 1, so that will just simply be 16 plus 25. But never mind that. Let's continue now, moving on. How about the upper part? So simply here we have ang division day nato kay mura duha ka multiplication, ha? So upper part, you can also do the FOIL method, right? Just like when we do multiplication. 2 plus 3i, oh. But kanin this one kay 5 minus na lang siya, no? Mura nakalahi daan eh. So, just like this, let's try to do the multiplication. Either you distribute or you do FOIL. I think FOIL is much straightforward. So let's do FOIL. First terms, 2 times 4, that's 8. Outer terms, 2 times negative 5i is what? That's negative 10i. Inner terms, 3i times 4, that's what? 3i times 4, that's 12i. And then, finally, outer terms, we have, oh no, I think I made a mistake a while ago. But never mind. Let me continue this, okay? So we have 2 plus 3i, that is simply, no, where am I? FOIL. First terms, outer term, inner term, that's 12i. Last term will be 3i times 5i, that's simply, well, that is negative 15i squared. So that's negative 15i squared, right? Tama, no? Tama. Yes. And that is simply, again, let me review. 2 times 4, 8. 2 times negative 5, that's negative 10i. 3i times 4, 12i. 3i times negative 5i squared. Now, the second part is we simplify this, okay? I squared, we know, is simply negative 1. So, sa numerator pa lang daan na part, you know that negative 15 times negative 1 is just what? That's positive 15. And we collect all the like kanang real terms first. So 8 plus 15, that will be 20, 23, right? Am I right? Yes, 23. And the katong na yung mga I will then become my imaginary terms. Negative 10 plus 12. That's simply positive 2. Okay? Positive 2I. Don't forget the I. How about this? 16 minus 25. We know that negative 25I squared is simply positive 25, right? Because I squared is negative 1. Negative 25 times negative 1 is positive 25. 16 plus 25 will be 41, okay? 41. And finally, our answer will be simply 23 over 41 plus 2 over 41i, okay? And now we are expressing this to the standard form a plus bi. By the way, no, ganina, I think as we go into the solution, ako na mali dari ba? What could that be? That will be what? 2 times 4, that's 8. 3i, that's first term, outer term, 2 times 5. That is not 10i squared, but that must be 10i only, right? 2 times 5, so wala din siya. Okay, so sorry for that. And then, inner terms, 3i times 4, 12i, 15i squared. So therefore, ang answer dayani will simply be 8 plus 15, or 8 minus 15. Dili kay ko ano? Nakuan man gud ni siya. 8 minus 15, kaya negative naman dahil ni imuhang 15. O kanino? This is not minus 10i, but this must be plus 10i. Okay, 8 minus 15 is negative 7. So, negative 7. Then, ang imuhang mga I will be 10 plus 12. That's what? 22. Okay? So, ang answer dapat is negative 7 plus 22i. Pag i-multiply nimo sila. Okay? So, ito kumrag na, sayop na kung kuha na. Na I squared, magod na ako. Anyway, mistakes are, kuha na. It's normal to do mistakes. Dapat lang kay kadugan ma-realize naman mga mistakes. Okay, so we need to be careful next time. That's z1 minus z2. If we do z2 minus z1, pareho lang gihapon. Okay, so if we do that, ang lahi na lang po, ang imong z2 na mag sa numerator na, so 4 plus 5i over 2 plus 3i. Multiply nimo siya always sa kanang unsay conjugate anay imong denominator nga term. So that must be 2 minus 3i, 2 minus 3i. So if we do FOIL, we have 4 times 2, that's 8. 4 times negative 3i, that's negative 12i. 4 times, no, 5i times 2, that's 10i. And we have here, what? This is what? 5i times negative 3i, that's negative 15i squared. Okay? Na lang. And then, second, multiply naman denominator. Simply, ang answer na kay 4 minus 9i squared. Because that is what? U squared minus V squared. And then, let's simplify this. 8 minus 15. And we know I squared is negative 1. So this will become 8 plus 15. What is 8 plus 15 equal to? Well, that's 23. Oh no. Anong pariho raman? Oh, anyway, kumulaga ito ramang din multiply. No? So anyway, we have that. 8 plus 15 is simply 23. And then, ang imong imaginary part is negative 12 plus 10 will then simply become negative 2i. Wow, ang difference lang din nila kay, magkano lang, no? Ang imong denominator will simply be 4 plus 9. 4 minus 9 is simply, that's 13, right? So, 13. Kaya negative 9, may mo na siyang positive 9 kaya may I squared kauban niya. So, in that case, this will then be equal to 23 over what? Over 13 minus 2 over 13i. And that is how simple operations with complex numbers. Okay? And I hope that you learned something out of that. Thank you.